Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee Chat. I'm Sherry Smeraglia, and I'm hanging out with Carol today, and we're just going to get caught up.
Absolutely. Happy New Year, guys.
Yes. I mean, you haven't been here since New Year. I was here yesterday.
I haven't been here since before Christmas.
Okay. Well, how are you doing?
Good.
Doing good?
Good.
All right.
Good. Pretty normal.
Yeah, it's been quite busy around here, especially with the weather last night. My God, I told y'all yesterday. We were expecting terrible weather, and I am telling you, Fletcher did not know what to think.
It was pretty rough last night.
Bad.
And so the weather here, I was talking to some of our staff today about y'all be taking your emergency and stay on top of it, because we had the torrential rain, wind like crazy. This weekend, I think Friday, we're going to be in the 70s.
And then it's going to be like
20.
Next week. We're just kind of doing this. Do you know I walked out this morning, like it was 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it was like hot?
Yeah.
It was hot. And
it was
then
like
all
55
of a sudden,
degrees.
It just went like super cold. It was the weirdest thing I have ever seen.
But this is where everybody gets sick, is when you're like 70 degrees and then 21 degrees. But I was reading about winterizing and some of the special things that we do around here to make sure that we're ready for winter.
Even where our dogs go out and all their like potty yards and everything, we're literally like putting like Visqueen around it and making it all like
to keep the wind off of it.
Almost like a greenhouse. It's like, if you're going to go out, we're building you a greenhouse.
Yes, but even things like Disco, Natalie's horse.
Oh, I know.
He's new, so he's got to have a blanket. And so we've got all of that kind of stuff that we've got to work on. But
well, welcome everybody. If you're here, I have got my phone up, and I will be able to watch, any comments that you make, answer any questions that you have. But Carol was just talking to me before you guys came on, and she was like, hey, I had some interesting conversations today, and there's one that I want to talk to with you guys.
Okay.
And so let's find out. All right, so today's one of your call days. Explain call day. Like, what happens there?
So my primary role here is animal care manager. If it lives, breathes, needs to eat, and goes to the bathroom, for the most part,
that's right,
I take care of it, and I oversee the team that has to do with that. But I have one day a week that is earmarked for appointments to talk to you guys with questions, anything going on. And I had some really great questions today from clients that I don't get very often. But call day is if you have an issue, if the office needs some support on things that go beyond what they normally do. Right, then we can do it. Like a great example too, and it's not the question that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
I had a client who has had golden retrievers their whole life, and every golden retriever they've ever had has died of cancer, which is pretty common in that breed. It's very, very sad. So they were asking if Goldendoodles are better, and if it were me trying to reduce the risk of cancer, which breed that we have would I go to and why?
Interesting.
And kind of talking through that
now
a little
you're
bit.
going to want to know what she said, right? But I can't identify with that, because before I was in the Doodles, I was a golden retriever breeder, and that was the hardest thing for me, knowing it's typical to have 10 puppies, knowing that 30% at that time were going to develop cancer. 30%. It was like 3 of these puppies, you just know. And I didn't like those odds
and the
at
number
all.
is way higher now than even what it was then.
This was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I think the number is closer. It's over 70% at this point of golden retrievers will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their life, which was one of the reasons why we're so passionate about hybrid vigor.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot, and a lot of people struggle with that. And so do we see So their first question was, do we see cancer in Goldendoodles? Okay. Yes, you're going to see cancer in every dog breed to some extent. It is definitely much, much less than what we see in the golden retrievers. But the thing is we do genetic testing here, and in DNA testing, and this was exactly what I told them. We can test for around 220 different genetic diseases right now. But you guys have got to know that there's thousands of diseases out there that probably have a genetic basis that we cannot test for yet.
We don't sit around testing ourselves like this, but we test our dogs.
We certainly do, and that's the truth.
That's crazy.
Well, so the thing with that is there's thousands of diseases that we can't test for.
Right.
And so what the specialists at Embark and what the vet gens, as they call them over there, talked to us about was, that's where genetic diversity comes in, because when you line up recessive traits that increase your risk of genetic diseases that you cannot currently test for.
Right.
Cancer is probably one of those that we just cannot currently test for.
Right.
And so in talking about that, what I encouraged them to do was to look at the breeds that we have here that have the highest level of genetic diversity, which happens to be our Toodle.
Yeah.
And so because we are bringing in at least 3 different breeds, and at times, because technically the different size poodles are different breeds. So a toy poodle is a different breed than a small poodle, is different than a standard poodle. A lot of times you're actually bringing in genetically 4 different breeds.
Yeah, if you think
Toodle.
about the poodle side of the family.
Correct. And so that level of genetic diversity reduces your risk of diseases to the most. So they're actually going to change their preferences. They've been on our wait list since
Just
last year.
because of their history and the
Because
fear
of their
of
history
that.
and the fear of that. Yeah. And the thing is guys, everybody has preferences for different reasons. You guys stick with that, but that's what call day is. Call day is their question
Talking
went
to them
beyond.
about that.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, that's something. All right, so now what was this other phone call?
So the other question was about neutering, and her vet is recommending that and a lot of you guys are going with this, and believe me, this is a hot topic for another day.
Okay.
But on that note, a lot of vets are now recommending post-puberty spay or neuter as opposed to a pre-puberty spay or neuter.
Okay.
Well, and now that there's a lot of post-puberty spays and neuters being recommended, meaning wait until your dog's over a year old, wait until they're full grown until you spay neuter. Now they're also talking about vasectomies as opposed to a neuter. So her question was, in our health guarantee, we require spay or neuter.
Right.
Her vet's recommending a vasectomy, and she wanted to know, how does that affect her health guarantee, number one? And number 2, is that
That's
something that
interesting.
we would recommend?
Well, when she asked me that question, I said, I have never been asked that question, but it does make sense. But that would be a more mature male.
Correct.
He would have to already have his testicles descended. He would be more mature. And so basically it's keeping his manliness without removing it.
Yeah.
But the goal is for them not to breed. So, I mean, technically, yes, but the question is, they're going to wait that long. So we got to talk about the pros and cons about doing that.
Sure. So one of the things, just to be clear for anybody who doesn't know, and
Okay.
hopefully Facebook doesn't flag us and put us in
be
jail
careful.
for saying
be
certain
careful what
words.
words. Yeah, we probably do need to watch that.
So in a neuter, the actual parts
Yeah.
are removed. That was
Yeah.
as delicately as I
Yeah,
could say that
yeah.
without getting flagged on Facebook.
Yeah.
In a vasectomy, the parts remain. It's the tubes that connect the parts that then allow fertilization to occur.
Just like
we'll say.
men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like men, a vasectomy just ties off the tubes.
Interesting. Have y'all ever heard that before? It's kind of interesting. But hey, I love science, and it's always evolving, and we're always learning. So, but we'd have to go back to the question, when? When are they going to?
So-
You can't do that on a young dog.
Well, you actually can do it younger than what you would think.
Okay.
But the thing is, and
That
so
would be like doing it on a boy.
So there's a lot of recommendations right now about leaving the dogs intact until they reach physical maturity, because leaving those hormones there, there's a lot of research that says it lessens their likelihood of certain types of cancer, certain ligament and joint injuries. The problem is leaving them intact through that level of maturity means you're also allowing the secondary sex characteristics come in. And this is exactly the conversation with the client. It's just like this. We're just talking about it. And I told them, at this point, we're not going to make recommendations that go against your vet's recommendations.
Right.
You've got to make a good and informed decision. And right now, there is so much research that is so all over the place that there is not a wrong
Yeah.
choice or a right choice to make. It's individual, and it's a very individual choice. But here's what we do know. If you leave hopefully we don't get flagged. If you leave the testicles in, you allow the hormones to stay there, which allows secondary sex characteristics to come in, which in a lot of cases are behavioral. And we, as breeders who stand behind our dogs and always provide a safe place for them to land here, have actually dealt with, over the last couple years with this new recommendation, an uptick in returns as a result of the dogs being allowed to stay intact. We've actually had a number of male dogs that have come back after not being neutered because They're marking and won't potty train now. Even once they've been neutered, they won't potty train. Trying to escape. And because of, we'll call it overly assertive jerk face behavior.
Yeah, just male behavior.
Male behavior.
Right.
And so we've seen that. Well, the other thing that historically in the past we've seen male dogs that left intact. So you got to think, you use the example of like a man, kind of the same procedure a man would get. Well, when a man has the testicles removed, they go on hormone replacements. Just like if a woman has a hysterectomy, she goes on hormone replacements. They don't do hormone replacements with dogs. And so when you have a dog who's used to all those hormones being present and suddenly you take them away, you can have some pretty dramatic and substantial behavior changes that occur really abruptly. We've actually had in the past like sudden rage that has occurred we've heard from clients that have had something like that happen.
Well, I do prefer them to be neutered earlier than later, just because it takes all that away, and it just kind of generalizes them. It doesn't really factor in anything.
It does. And the thing is the risk of cancers and the ligament injuries are not life-threatening. Some of the cancers we're leaving them intact that come on is life-threatening. And at the end of the day, more dogs are going to lose their lives in their homes to behavior issues than anything else. But I think the vasectomies are coming up now because leaving the dogs intact later does create a problem if you neuter them suddenly and all those hormones drop off. Well, you can eliminate that by just doing a vasectomy.
Earlier.
You leave the testicles in place and the hormones stay
What
there.
age can they do that, vasectomy?
To be honest, I'm
Maybe
not
6
100%.
months?
I'm thinking 6 to 9 months they can probably
If
do
they
it.
could do that, then that's kind of it's a win-win. for
I don't
a lot
know.
of people.
Not on the behavior side, though.
Yeah, on the
So-
behavior side, they've got that.
So, because like in female dogs, they do where they'll leave the ovaries in and totally just remove the uterus. Well, the dogs will still go through a lot of the same hormonal changes that they go through with everything else. So it's kind of weird.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. It's an evolving science. And so that's one of the parts of my role here and what you and I talk about a lot is every day it's new. You know, you guys a lot of times hear about things before we do.
Yeah.
And you ask, and then we go and do the research. We ask our vets. We dig in and try to figure it out.
So you gotta when she talks to the people and the front office, we're always gathering information. And I mean, we're talking to vets in 50 different states around the country and the world sometimes.
Yep.
So we're really hearing about what's happening here and there, and you can see trends.
Yes, you can.
It is it's crazy how we'll be like. Did all the vets go to a conference this week and start talking about this? Because we have never seen this, and then all of a sudden, all of them are talking about it. We'll start getting calls. I'm like, they went to a conference.
Oh, yes.
A continuing education course has come up,
Right.
and they have all taken this class, like on vasectomies.
Oh, yes.
And then all of a sudden it comes up, and you're like, what in the world?
Or there's a pharmaceutical company that does this mass mailing about this new product because all of a sudden clients are asking about, hey, what do you think about this food? Or what do you think about this supplement? And it's like, I've never heard of it, but you're the fifth person to ask this
Oh my
week.
gosh, when they went on that Purina thing about having the bugs in the Purina, of course, and we use Purina, the Pro Plan, and we're like opening our food, we're not seeing it. But when people get on a tangent and they start TikToking it and everybody, we're getting like influx of everybody. And we're like, hey, we're opening our bags, we're looking at them, we're pouring them, we're trying to find anything. We're not seeing this, you know?
Yeah. But you know what? I love it because the thing is you guys ask questions. All of us have our own perception of things and how we see it. We don't have your viewpoint until you ask or until you tell us about it.
From you.
So love hearing that kind of stuff so that we can ask, so that we can become more informed and educated, and thus inform and educate you guys.
And
also.
a lot of you are here saying hello, and just somebody was saying we had some internet issues. Will, are we good? We're all good. Okay, no problems. Tiffany said, hey. Yep, just a lot of people checking in. Hey, 2 days in a row, I've been coffee chatting. Now tomorrow at 3:15, I will be here with a litter of puppies, and I'll be hanging out and introducing the mango babies, right?
Yep.
So they'll be so cute. That's who's up tomorrow, 3:15. Aren't they cute? So cute. All right, so temp tests. You've been in temp test world too. And are you seeing any trends in temperament testing? Or a lot of people want to know, yesterday they were asking me about, all right, tell me the difference between a Goldendoodle, a Twoodle, and a Schnoodle. We kind of talked through that, so we're not going to do that today. But when you temp test, if I did not tell you who you were temp testing, do you think there are trends are things, characteristics about Goldendoodles, Tweedles, or Schnoodles that you would be, because we don't dock the tails anymore. So if you didn't know, and I said, okay, can you figure it out just by, okay, temperament. All right, that's good.
But let me say,
I like that answer though.
my answer to questions is always yes and no. Okay. Always. But the straightforward answer is no. If you just put a litter in front of me and said, tell me which breed this is, I would not be able to, just from a temperament standpoint, tell you. Now, because I know the dogs, I probably could tell you. But
you could figure it out because you know the breeding and the puppies that were born. But take that away.
Yeah, take that away. Just look at the puppies.
You did not participate in the breeding program. All you are doing is...
I'm an outside trainer that comes in and does temperament assessments. I would not be able to tell the difference. And in some cases, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference with purebred, some of our purebreds. And the reason is, for so many years, you breed towards a certain type.
Right.
And in selecting parents, this was actually part of the conversation with the client today.
Oh, there's a bug.
It's a ladybug, though, so it's good luck.
I don't like it.
A lot of our parent dogs here are 4th and 5th generation Smeraglia dogs now.
Yes,
which means they've been selectively bred over a period of time for a specific type, which means temperament, look, health, a specific profile. So doing that does lean you in that direction. Now, the yes and no part. So no, I wouldn't. The yes part. It's more of a, could I tell who a parent is based on a puppy?
Now those things are consistent.
Yes. And so the thing is that yes. So in a litter, and this is actually a pretty cool point for temperament assessments. And you guys maybe on the front end of this is one of the things the office is kind of talking about to help get you guys on litters, as opposed to waiting all the way through temp test. Is we could probably, you guys who've gotten temp tests notice that they're very similar across a litter.
It almost feels like we copy and paste it. Some people have said that. Did you just copy and paste? And we're like, no, we didn't. But that is actually a compliment.
It is. Breeding for
us.
Consistency is important. We want consistency in a litter.
Yeah.
But within separate litters, there's more differences because the parents are obviously different. We want a temperament profile to be kind of the same across everything, but like this litter is going to be more prone to being super playful and gregarious and outgoing, and this litter is going to be a little more reserved and soft-spoken, and we know that about certain litters. So what we talked about is a temperament profile at breeding. So like if we talk about I like that. Like the Mango litter, I think Mango to Briggs is the breeding. We know Mango, we know what her personality is, we know Briggs's personality, so we can say at breeding, our temperament goal and expectation is all of these things. And then temp test will let us know if we were wrong, but we're likely not going to be.
Well, and so many of you guys get hung up on I got to wait to 7 weeks and I've got to look at that temperament test and I've got to evaluate. And then you get them and they're like copy paste. They look all identical. That is something we've been working on, like she said, for many years. And our goal is to just put it out there. And when we are evaluating them, we're kind of looking for the oddballs or the something that really wasn't in line, like a resource guarder. That's not typical for this breeding or these parents or what's going on. We have one puppy outside of them has a unique temperament. Everybody else fit within the margins of what we were expecting.
Absolutely. And so I think Meredith and them just went live with maybe a Myrtle puppy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know Myrtle. We know what her personality's like. We also know the sire of that litter and what the personality is. And so we can then say the temperament profile would be this. Or to use an example of a litter I just did this week, I just did temperament assessments on the Cynthia litter or Abby litter, because Meredith y'all were live yesterday with the 2 Abby boys.
Yes.
So the Abby litter. Well, Abby is a very, very, she's a poodle and a very, very sweet mom. She's a very soft-spoken. She's very respectful, very sensitive, very, very sweet. So the dad to that litter is Bruce, and he's very bubbly, very happy. He's a very typical kind of boy, but he's gentle. So within that litter, you have both parents that are very gentle, We have both parents that have good balance of personality traits, so I would anticipate puppies that are well balanced. I would anticipate puppies that are going to be very gentle with interactions. So we then say, here's the temperament profile of this litter, and then at temp test we have the nuances.
Right.
And I think that would be helpful for our clients, so that even as they're getting offers at 3 weeks.
This is what we're expecting. Don't worry about it. We will, if the puppy doesn't fit what you're looking for, we can let you know. We're still evaluating the puppies. We're looking for mouthiness, timidness, like just abnormal fear or something like that. That's what you would be like, that's not normal.
I'm looking for red flags.
Yeah.
And then I'm also looking for the ones that are going to really lean really hard one way or the other as far as like a service temperament, because those are not always the best pets, especially if you're going to leave them alone. So we're going to watch for that kind of stuff too.
That's right. Well, so many people are really liking this topic. They really enjoy that. That's what litter we have, Cynthia and Adler temperament. That's what they have. All right. So and Tiffany is saying how much she loves us, and she is going to be getting a puppy. We've actually been looking at puppies for her. So you're watching for specifics.
I am. I'm watching for some really, really specific things for her. And that's where we're kind of looking for some of those outliers. And, you know, we've got some great ones that meet exactly what she's looking for, just not today.
Yeah, hadn't got it yet, but we know
We
what
will.
you're looking for. So this is such a great topic. And it's very valuable information to understand temperaments of the puppies. But I love the fact that we are breeding with such consistency, that Goldendoodle, Schnoodle, Twoodle, it's all kind of coming together because temperament rules, and that's what we live by here.
Yes, it does, for sure. So something else cool happened today.
Okay, what's that?
We got some new tags.
Oh, yeah, this is crazy. Okay, y'all know our color system and how it works, okay? Well, when a dog has an exceptionally large litter, tell them what happens.
So our typical colors on boys are blue, green, orange. And so the first 3 are blue, green, orange.
Yeah.
Then the next 3 are blue dot, green dot, orange dot.
Yeah.
Then the next 3 are blue stripe, green stripe, orange stripe. That's 9 male puppies. We should be okay in any case with 9 tag colors.
Yep.
Unless you have a mom who decides to have 12 boys in one litter.
Oh my God,
12 boys.
12 boys.
So we've done purple tag in the past.
So now it's purple.
We've done purple tag in the past for you went above and beyond. So purple's the color of royalty. It's something super special.
Yeah.
But this is the first time ever we've gotten to purple stripe. We've never had 3 additional in any gender. And I was telling Sherry, what happens if she has another boy? What color are we going to do next? We've never had
What
that
would
come
we
up.
do after purple?
I don't know. Stars?
I don't know. We'd have to have a whole new color.
A question mark because we're clueless?
Tiffany has the patience of Job, she said, so she's patient. All right, guys, this is great. So now we got to watch this. Okay, no, we would have to start over. Yeah, we'd have to go to a star on the blue.
Blue star?
And then we'd have to go to...
Sam said maybe instead of a stripe, do lightning, like a zigzag.
Yeah, something like
Or
that.
maybe
So
a
now we
swirl.
have a 4th thing. We don't start with a new color. Now we get a blue star or a blue arrow or a blue something, and then a green, and then orange, and then purple again.
Yeah.
And then we can mentally know this puppy is,
And when she did
13.
have girls too.
well,
I mean, she is overachieving today.
this girl, we just gonna have to...
She going for the record.
Now, when I have a doodle drop, I don't know if I'm going to bring them all in here. Could you see us all on this table? Like, okay, I got how many boys? 13 boys? 12 boys?
12 boys. And at this point, 2 girls. So at this point, we're at 14 puppies.
Oh my gosh.
And we are
Woo.
just declaring if she has any more, they're
Oh
going to be girls.
my gosh. They're like, they love that. Love that.
Yeah, so it was
All
a
right,
fun
I'm seeing
day.
if there's any more comments I need to read to you guys. But I think overall, I've addressed them all. Well, this sounds like we've had quite a productive day. You did almost have a tree on your house, though, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that storm last night, guys. And it's so funny because we had these alarms going off all night, all the weather alarms. So for those of you who know Charles, who you were live
Yeah.
with a little while ago, that's my husband.
If y'all don't know.
He sleeps like the dead. So these alarms are going off. So I'm having to turn off my alarm and then I have to get up and go turn off his alarm because
Really?
he's not turning off. He's not waking up. Well, I finally woke him up and was like, Charles, I think there's legit a tornado coming over with all of this going on, all the wind that we're hearing. I was like, do we need to get up? Do we need to get in the hall? And he was like, we're fine where we are. Don't worry about it. Nothing is going to happen. I get up this morning and Cody went, I swear, I think a tree almost fell on our house. He was right. We had a giant pine tree that fell, and it fell perfectly. Like, God could not have laid it, or he laid it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
Any other way it fell, it would have taken out our dog kennels at our house, my chicken coop, my house, my car.
Oh my gosh.
All of our power lines. It would have hit anything, but it fell exactly as it needed to, which means, like Charles said, no problem to just stay asleep.
Yeah. Well, I was up worried because two of my, we had two puppies going au pair air this morning. And I mean, during the worst of it, I mean, the alarm had just went off, all this, you know, the phone alarm. We don't have sirens out here, you know. And I was like, Lauren and Dana were flying today. And so I was reaching out to Lauren and, Lauren, you cannot drive right now. And she's like, it's over at 5:15. And from 4:30 to 5:15, it was like serious, like tornado, take cover. And she's like, so I'm leaving at 5:15. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my gosh. So literally, it was like 5:15. It broke. It was quiet. She literally was like, I think right behind the storm. She got the puppy, and the storm was just, she was just right behind it.
Hopefully flying the other way.
Yeah, it was going east, and she was going east. And so she just said, it's about 15, 20 minutes in front of me now. So I'm just going to stay where I am. And she really never encountered any other issue.
Okay.
It just kept going into Florida. And she was going to Florida too. But it had a little...
And then her flight was west?
Yeah, she was going to New York. And Dana was going to Arizona.
Okay. Well, that's good.
So they were kind of going up and out. But they were delayed quite a bit. When they first got on the plane, Joe, on the other hand, got stuck in Atlanta last night. So he was flying back in this morning and then coming in to get all the prep school videos out and ready. So I was like, whoa, this storm had us just chasing our tails.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like, it was very loud, very scary sounds.
And Fletcher did not know what to think about it. He was like, but instead of running from it, he was running to it. He was running. If the lightning would boom, he would run to that door and
check it out.
And then he'd hear it in the back, and he'd run to the back of the house and look out. And then he'd go to the side window. It was like boom, boom. He was like, I'm checking this out. He was all about it.
Our animals were doing the exact same thing that Charles was doing.
Oh, sleeping right through it.
Sleeping right through it. They didn't care.
No fear, no fear. All right, guys. Well, what a wonderful topic. Hopefully you learned something today. And please join me back tomorrow at 3:15. I love hanging out with you guys. I will be back on Thursday at 1:30 with some surprise prep school puppies.
Yes, surprise because the list hasn't been made yet.
Yes, and so I don't know who they're going to be, but it's going to be fun. But tomorrow we'll have mangoes at 3:15. If you guys have any other comments or questions, please feel free to post them here, and we'll try to answer them. Have a great evening. Carol's got to go back and do some more stuff.
Yes.
I do too. I got soup on the stove. So I will see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.